Hey everybody, so it's Sunday afternoon, I'm about to head out, but I thought I'd crack out a quick vlog for you guys with regards to learning how to code when you're totally new. Well, this applies to learning anything when you're totally new. And I'm bringing this up because I have, over the last year, been learning how to manage my fancy DSLR camera. This is a camera with interchangeable lenses and has all kinds of settings. I've been learning how to control the camera, how to control the camera. I've been doing videos, screen capture videos since 2003, and I've done the occasional vlogs type video or live video where you see me, but a lot of times I use a webcam. About a year or so ago, I decided to step up my game, so I bought a fancier camera, and then I had to start learning how these cameras works, right? Now, I'll just get to the point. When you are learning something new, coding, HTML, Python, CSS, PHP, Java, whatever, server technology, whatever you happen to be learning new, when you're first starting out, it's daunting because it's kind of like a dark room, and you're walking through and you're not sure if you're going to bump into a wall, and you will bump into walls, and you're not sure when you're actually going to start seeing the light, when you're going to start getting a good idea about the layout of the room, if you will. So what you have to do when you're starting off something new is you have to recognize that that's going to be the case. You have to sort of almost have faith as you move forward that the knowledge will become clearer and clearer as you progress slowly, step by step. So it's an incremental process. You learn a little bit, little more, and things will start to clear up. The haze will start to lift. It's it's inevitable if you just keep consistently working at it. So try not to get frustrated, especially when you're starting out. It's very daunting. So I bring all this up because I've been reminded of this recently over the last year, where I said, well, I want to up my video game. I want my video in terms of live video games. So I had to get a bit better camera. So I got a decent camera. And so I had to learn how to use the camera. I had to understand all these settings and the complexities. Why? Because I wanted more control over the quality of the video that I'm producing. Hopefully it's higher quality video. If I wanted to have a blurry background, I wanted to know how to do that, etc., 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 etc. So it just takes time. And I would say now, after about a year of just really, not full time, not even close to full time, but just taking the effort to slowly learn how these fancier cameras work, so I can go into, there's many different modes on these type of camera, different levels of automation in the camera. So I typically would just set it to full automatic, and it would just, 85, 90% of the time it was cool, no problem. But if I wanted to have that particular control, depending on circumstances, lighting, blurry background, not so blurry background, fast movement or slow movement, etc., 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 I didn't know what to do. So I said I had to learn this stuff. So I step by step increased the level of, for lack of better terms, complexity in terms of my ability to handle the camera. And now I'm at the point where I go in full manual mode, where I control just about every aspect of the camera, which gives me a much better control over the resulting image. Same thing with coding and programming. You start off light, and you start doing simple things, and slowly, step by step, and you'll see at some point the haze will just lift away. And all of a sudden, a lot of things that have been confusing you for months perhaps, all of a sudden, now I understand it, and you'll be wondering why you thought it was difficult to begin with. The key to this is that consistent, relaxed effort towards the goal. Every day a little bit more, every day a little bit more. So it's basic theory on what you're working with. That's the foundation. You do that every day, and then you do some actual work. So in terms of coding, you learn the basics, then you do simple things. Let's say you're doing some HTML. You learn the basics of what a tag is. You learn 3 or 4 tags. Then you write a bunch of tags out in code. You write it out. Then you go to the next level. You learn a little bit more. Then you implement. Implement means you just basically take what you learned and you actually put it to use. I first got this from my martial arts background. So for example, when I wanted to learn how to box, what did I do? First day in the gym, I got in the ring and I sparred. I took a beating. Next time I got to the gym, I took another beating. But every time I got into the ring and I started sparring, my skills slowly got better and better. In between sparring sessions, though, I would have a coach and he would teach me the basics and the foundations. Then I get in there and try to put them to use. And it's a back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I applied that with my camera work, where I got my, semi-pro camera. I went off full auto, and I went to semi-auto. So where the camera would control some of its functions automatically, and I would be able to control one of its functions, for instance. And I continue. Now I'm at the point where I'm using full manual, so I have total control. Although there's one aspect of the camera's functionality, if you will, I let the camera handle for reasons I won't get into now. I'm not doing how to work a camera vlog here. But the point is it's an incremental process. Don't let it get you down, that's just all cloudy and hazy now. And a good course should give you that nice solid foundation, coupled with little mini projects, more foundation, more mini projects, more foundation basics, and then slightly more complex projects. And then when you get to like intermediate level, well, when you're moving your way up to that stage, you set the projects should become more and more complex, and you gradually get better. Just like if you were lifting weights, you don't start trying to lift 200 pounds. You start with whatever you can lift in the beginning, right? 25 pounds, 50 pounds, whatever it is, and slowly every day you build up, you build up, you build up, you build up. And that's it. So I hope you found this vlog useful. And now it's time for my shameless plug. So you may or may not know, I wrote this book, Web Design. Web Design Start Here. Find it on Amazon, highly rated. I wrote this book, so it's not too thick. Nobody wants to read 500-page books. This book was designed to get you the big picture of web design. So you learn HTML5, CSS3, touch of JavaScript, and you learn about the big picture around it, and you learn the key aspects of each of these languages. And when you finish this book, well, even way before you finish this book, you're going to be able to build modern websites that are responsive, meaning that they'll work in big normal computer screens. They'll resize and reshape automatically for small devices, and a whole bunch of other things as well. The idea, again, my teaching style is teach the key basics, give you projects that you can put those basic skill sets to work, which will take you into like intermediate level. But then the most important thing is you're going to understand the foundations of all this stuff, so you'll be able to then explore these things on your own. You'll be able to go, and I mentioned other resources where the documentation for HTML, the documentation for CSS, it won't be just all gobbledygook. It won't be so confusing to you because you will have this solid foundation. I wrote this book, by the way, as to prepare myself for my new courses on Studio Web. So if you like video, you have those options as well. And I guess that's it for the shameless plug. Have a good day.